And now, prepare your ear holes for penetration as we bring you another great podcast from the Poop Culture Extended Universe.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty array of snacks we have to offer. So will the youngsters. Everything is quality and so good. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. There are always wonderful new pictures to see, delightful snacks to nibble, a gay, pleasant evening for all. Oh, a word of caution. Don't drive over 10 miles an hour in the theater area for your safety's sake. And Mom or Pop, go with the kids when they leave the car. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon. The show starts in 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of the Video Rangers podcast. I'm Mike Spanakos, flying solo today. Unfortunately, Chris couldn't be here, so we're going to try something a little different today. We're not going to do a movie. We're going to talk about the cinematic summer of 1989. So it's not just one movie, it's many, many movies. Time magazine called 1989 the year that changed the world. The Berlin Wall, Tiananmen Square, the beginnings of the World Wide Web, Nintendo released the Game Boy, and Seinfeld aired its pilot episode. 1989 was also arguably the greatest year for summer movies. So let's go back, way back, to the cinematic summer of 1989. What really kicked off the blockbuster summer of 1989 started on May 24th with the release of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Did about $197 million at the box office against a $48 million budget, and that's really where we get started with it. Following that, going right into June, we've got June 2nd. The movies that opened were Dead Poets Society, No Holds Barred, Renegades, and Vampire's Kiss. Now, No Holds Barred we actually covered in a previous episode, so be sure to go back and listen to that. Next, on June 9th, we've got Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. So it's the fifth time that the original cast is making its way into the motion picture, and they did about $52 million in the box office against a $30 million budget. Next week, June 16th, Ghostbusters 2 is released into the movie theater, and while it was a financial success, it wasn't exactly well received by critics or fans, but looking back today, I actually enjoy the film. Now for the big one. June 23rd saw the release of Tim Burton and Michael Keaton's Batman. The biggest movie of the summer. Against a $35 million budget, they did about $251 million in the box office. Also released that very same day was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which was also a very big film with $130 million at the box office. The next week, June 30th, we've got Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, Far From Home, Great Balls of Fire, and The Karate Kid Part 3. So already in June of 1989, we are starting off the summer with some very big movies. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody went to the theater about 5-6 times that month, and that's just to see Batman. I know that I saw Batman, I saw Ghostbusters 2, I think I saw Karate Kid Part 3. I think some of my friends were very upset that we went to go see that movie. June sets the tone for what is going to be an amazing summer and an amazing year for film. So before we get started with July, I'd like to take this moment to bring you a message from your local theater.
Don't let pay TV be the monster in your living room. Pay TV and cable TV companies are seeking the right to charge you for the very programs you now get free. If you want to stop pay TV and save free television, sign the petition in the lobby of this theater. Let your lawmakers know how you feel in the fight against pay TV and cable TV.
there's plenty of time to treat yourself to something good to eat at our refreshment center.
Now, in July 1989, we open up with the first day of July, July 1st, and the film that was released was Shag. Not much to say about that one. Phoebe Cates, I think, is in it. It's a movie. Moving on to July 5th, we've got Haunted Summer and Weekend at Bernie's opened. The next week, Lethal Weapon 2, which was a very big movie for the year, did about $147 million at the box office. July 14th, License to Kill, and When Harry Met Sally, my favorite romantic comedy. July 21st saw the release of Eat a Bowl of Tea, I have no fucking idea what that is, and UHF. So unfortunate for UHF to be released in this particular time. That should have been a December movie. Now we've got July 28th saw the release of Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Although, really, he took Vancouver. Also saw the release of Turner and Hooch, which was a financial success with $71 million. Before we get into August, why don't we take a quick trip to the snack bar?
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Starting off August of 1989, August 2nd saw the release of Parenthood, which was a very big movie for the summer, did about $100 million in the box office. Following week, August 4th, saw the Stallone picture Lockup, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and Yahoo Serious in Young Einstein. August 9th was the release of The Abyss. August 11th, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. August 16th saw Rude Awakening and Uncle Buck, everybody's favorite uncle. August 18th, we had Casualties of War, Cheetah, A Chorus of Disapproval, Eddie and the Cruisers 2, and Let It Ride. August 22nd was the release of Cookie. August 25th, Heart of Dixie, Kanoko Monogatari, I have no fucking idea what that is, but somehow it made $13 million in the box office. Fred Savage and Little Monsters, Millennium, The Package, and finishing off August 29th saw the release of Relentless. So while some of these movies are, pretty forgettable in August, you did have some big ones with Parenthood, The Abyss, Nightmare on Elm Street, Uncle Buck. I guess if you want to count Eddie and the Cruisers, but it really was a fantastic summer to go to the movies. So now what I'd like to do is go over the top 10 box office hits of 1989. So number 1 was Tim Burton's Batman, did over $250 million in the box office. Coming in second was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with $197 million. Third was Lethal Weapon 2 with about $147 million. Fourth was Look Who's Talking, $140 million. 5 was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with $130 million. 6 was Back to the Future Part 2. Can you imagine that? Back to the Future Part 2, Batman, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade released all in the same year. That's huge. And that did about $118 million in the box office. Number 7, Ghostbusters 2, $112 million in the box office. Number 8 was Driving Miss Daisy with $106 million. Number 9 was Parenthood with a little over $100 million. At number 10, Dead Poets Society with $95 million, and that was Robin Williams starring in a dramatic role. I believe it also got him nominated for an Oscar. So if you don't count Indiana Jones, if we're only going to count June, July, and August, 6 of the year's biggest films were released in a 3-month period. And if you want to count Indiana Jones, which I think you should because it's really the last week of May. I mean, we're talking about 7 of the biggest movies in the year being released in the summer. Some honorable mentions, some movies that weren't released in the summer, but just to show you how impactful and powerful a movie year was. You've got Roadhouse was also released that year. Disney's The Little Mermaid, Major League, The Burbs, Gleaming the Cube, Halloween Part 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Pet Sematary, Born on the 4th of July, Field of Dreams, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Say Anything, The Fly 2, Dream a Little Dream, Christmas Vacation, that's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Little Monsters, and The Wizard, big year for Fred Savage, Tango and Cash, and Who's Harry Crumb. So you can see just by reading off this list, these movies are considered classics. This is a huge year at the box office. Hollywood did well over $1 billion inside 3 months. I know Chris probably would have liked to have been here. He would have had a lot of fun going over that list. And I couldn't get Mike or Matt to come in, but I did get them to send me what their favorite movies were for the year of 1989. So I'm just going to read that off to you right now. So Matt says that Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Glory were his favorite movies of the year. Matt says his dad took him to see all those in theaters because he thought it was important that he saw them on the big screen. He was 8, and Glory was not for 8-year-olds. Sanikoff says Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Driving Miss Daisy. Those are the only 2 movies he remembers going to see in the theater that year. But he also enjoyed Roadhouse, which he thinks he probably just saw on HBO. Before we got started with the episode, I asked some people to tweet in with what their favorite films were of 1989. So I'm just going to read some of those tweets out to you now. At JamieHS_, so many to choose. Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, The Burbs, Back to the Future Part 2, Dead Poets, fucking Batman. And he's absolutely right. Fucking Batman. Batman was so fucking big. I was Batman for Halloween that year. I had t-shirts, I had a book bag, I had a sleeping bag. It was the biggest fucking deal. It was the first time that we had gotten a serious take on Batman. Before that, it was all Adam West. It was kind of campy. It was a little kooky. And this was a real dark Batman. And nobody really thought it was going to work at the time. And I'm sure that Michael Keaton and a few other people were thinking to themselves, like, I could be typecast as Batman just like Adam West was. Thankfully, Michael Keaton was an amazing Batman and Jack Nicholson was an amazing Joker. Okay, the Movie Madness podcast tweeted in, he's going to skip the biggies and go with Uncle Buck, Parenthood, The Abyss, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and Major League. And those are all solid picks. If you'd like to, you should go visit the Movie Madness podcast. They do very good work over there covering all kinds of different topics of film. And I totally agree. Uncle Buck, one of my favorites. Next, we've got at Mark James Poop, and he tweets, Major League, UHF, Glory, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, License to Kill, and Do the Right Thing. All solid choices. And last we have at Dave_Quist, and his favorites are Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Crimes and Misdemeanors. All right, so that's it for the tweets. Now, I know this was a much shorter episode than you're used to. We just wanted to do something different, and Chris couldn't really be here, and I still wanted to put something out. But let us know if this is something that you guys are into, you'd like to see more of. I know had Chris been here, we would have went a little longer. We would have had a little bit more back and forth with some of the movies as we were going down the list. But I'd like to thank you for tuning in and checking out the cinematic summer of 1989. If you'd like to hear more podcasts about the year 1989, why don't you go visit some of the guys that are part of the Poop Culture Extended Universe, just like we are. You have the flagship Poop Culture podcast, Be Kind and Rewind, the Boondoggle podcast, the Mockers podcast, the Bocephus broadcast, and of course, the Video Rangers podcast. You can find all these great podcasts over at poopculture.com, as we are all part of the Poop Culture Extended Universe. You can also download us on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker. We certainly would appreciate you checking us out. And if you'd like to get in touch with the Video Rangers podcast, you can reach us at videorangerspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also find us at, of course, as we mentioned before, poopculture.com. And if you really like 1989 or even want to get deeper into 1980s movies, I'd like to suggest two great podcasts that focus completely on 1980s movies. One is This Was Rad, and the other was Good Times, Great Movies. Both really good podcasts, focus completely on 1980s movies, and they are both part of the Podtron network, so go check those guys out. And until next time, if you've seen a bad movie, we're ready to believe you.
To sum it up, I'm Chainsaw. I'm Dave. We'll see you at the movies.
What you just heard was a podcast in the Poop Culture Extended Universe. For more great podcasts, make your way to www.poopculture.com.